Hi everyone, this is our fourth video for history for this term. Let's go straight to our PowerPoint and we'll work through what we've learned so far and where we're going. I'll just share the screen to get to our PowerPoint. Okay. Today we're looking at the first voyage of Captain Cook. Now, as a captain, he made many voyages, but he only made 3 voyages as the captain of the ship. And the first one is the one that took him to Australia. Okay, we have already looked at the lifestyle of the Aboriginal people. Last week we looked at the trade routes and the early explorers that arrived in Australia before Captain Cook. Today we're looking at Captain Cook himself. This was a significant event in the history of Australia. Okay, what we are looking to learn today is about Captain Cook's voyage to the east coast of Australia. And if we're successful with that, you should be able to explain why Captain Cook came to Australia, to draw a map to show where he sailed, and to describe what he did when he came to Australia. So let's start with who was James Cook. A little bit of background. He was born in England in 1728. When he was 18, he became a merchant sailor. Now, his family were farmers, although they didn't own their own farm. They farmed on other people's land. A merchant sailor is a person who isn't in the Navy. So they're usually people who move cargo or trade up and down the coast or between countries. 9 years later, so when he was about 27, he joined the Royal Navy as an ordinary seaman and spent most of the next 12 years at sea, not as a captain, just as an ordinary sailor in the Navy. But he did, in that time, progress up through the ranks, and when he was 34 years old, he married Elizabeth Batts, who was only 21 at the time, and they went on to have 6 children, but unfortunately they all died before having children of their own. So there are no direct descendants of Captain Cook. Why was Cook chosen to be the captain of this voyage? During his time in the Merchant Navy and later as a sailor in the Royal Navy, Cook demonstrated a great talent for being able to survey. Cartography means to make maps and to navigate. Within 2 years of joining the Royal Navy, Cook passed his master's exam, which qualified him to navigate and handle a ship of the King's Fleet. Now, during this time, while he was learning to do this, he had been assigned to the Newfoundland coast, where he had done a lot of work on mapping the coastline of Newfoundland. So his talent for navigation and the many maps he produced brought him to the attention of the Navy's admirals. In May 1768, Cook was asked by the Royal Society of London to command a scientific voyage to the Pacific Ocean to watch and record the transit of Venus across the Sun in 1769. Now, the transit of Venus happens when the planet Venus travels between the Earth and the Sun. So this is the Sun here, the big yellow ball, and this is the plotting of the planet Venus as it passes in between the Earth and the Sun. Now, it doesn't look like that. At any one time, it only has one dot, but this is giving you the idea of how it would transit to move across the Sun. And as it moves across, its silhouette becomes visible just as a black spot. Now, a transit of Venus happens very, very rarely. The last one occurred in 2012, and the next one isn't for many, many years. It was an important event as it allowed astronomers to take measurements that would help them work out how far the Earth was from the Sun. When the Royal Navy became aware that Cook would be sailing in the Pacific Ocean, because Tahiti is in the Pacific Ocean, okay, so to view this transit of Venus And to get good measurements from it, Cook needed to be down in the South Pacific Ocean. And the Royal Navy became aware that he would be going down there, and they added another set of instructions, which we'll get to in a little while. And here's a painting of the Endeavour, the boat that they sailed on. Captain James Cook and his crew on the ship H.M. Bark Endeavour departed England in August 1768. The Endeavour had 85 men on board. The voyage would become known as Cook's first voyage, as he was also the captain on 2 later voyages. Okay, and this part is the first part of his voyage. So here he is in England, Britain, and we're following this line here. Okay, down to here. So he sailed from Plymouth in England, crossing the Atlantic Ocean. Here's the Atlantic Ocean. So he crossed the Atlantic Ocean until they got to South America, where they stopped to replenish supplies and clean the ship at Rio de Janeiro, which is this place here on the east coast of South America. In February 1769, they sailed round Cape Horn. This is Cape Horn at the bottom of South America, and entered the Pacific Ocean. So coming through here, once they got through these straits, they had gone from the Atlantic Ocean into the Pacific Ocean. And following this path through here, they sailed up here to Tahiti. They arrived in Tahiti in April 1769, and on the 3rd of June, they observed the transit of Venus. Okay, now I'm going to leave our history lesson there so that I can change to a different video. I'll be back shortly.